smart launcher. Get in and get your in a few clicks. Okay.
Team 23. So my project is called Smart Launcher. So before I present my project first, I would like to know how many of you knows about how many apps you have installed on your mobile device. I guess no one knows. I don't even know how many apps I installed. So, but by some statistics data, actually, average people who install about 150 to 200 apps on their mobile device. And assuming, and also that people who are using our mobile device daily is about like 45 minutes to an hour. And assuming people who are using TV is going to be longer, maybe 2 hours to 3 hours every day. And assuming that apps to install on the capability is much more than like 150 to 200. So now come down to the problem. When people try to find the apps among all these apps being installed on the device, they're having problem to find it. So how can we resolve that? Smart Launcher is the solution. So what this application does is basically it analyzes the user behavior and try to manage all the apps automatically for the users and populate all the most favorite apps for the users. And this app is supposed to So this app will automatically show up like how many. So the first column is basically talking about the favorite app being analyzed by the system, and then it will also analyze what's a new app you installed, which is something we from all the teams just presented. And at the same time, it will also tell you like what's the recent open the app. So the idea of this app is basically about once you go into this app, you only need to take about 2 to 3 clicks to get the application you want. So, and you also provide different kind of user edit menu, so you can add your favorite app into the folder. Because some of the app you might like it, but you don't really use that often. You might only use it once in a while. And the other thing is that this one, we also supporting the widget. And this widget will actually, based on your user behavior, will recommend your daily app each day. So let me show you how to work. So now you show you like your Sunday's app. Because sometimes people during the weekend they tend to like use maybe watching the NBA application more than like daily time, and then this one populate for you, and you just need to click it on your home screen without actually going through to any other places. So this is try to save people time to finding their own app.
I think there's definitely a problem here, to solve. I kind of liked where you were going with this, a little bit more of sort of a learning behavior. There's probably all sorts of different things you can learn around. There's probably, one, you want to have the one setting which you do have, which is I manually, or I know each time I go to the launcher, the icons are in a certain place, right? There's one thing. But then there's other modal learning, which you're talking here about time, but I don't know if you can expand on other things that you've thought about, like even like relevancy, like I'm in this app. Every time I'm in this app, I'm likely to launch these 4 other apps or so forth. Are there other modes that you've thought of there?
So basically, the beauty part of this app is study the behavior of how you're using app. Not just about app itself, not just about app like how long you use, like how often you use, but also study about the behavior between one app and the other app. Like how much time you spend on the Google Mail and how much time you spend on like Yahoo Mail, all those kind of relevant data. So compared with other statistics company, like they try to help the developer to capture the data. They only can capture the data within the app, but they can never capture the data within the whole system. And how the app actually is relevant to the other app, compared with, let's say you have a game, like a war game, but how is war game compared with the other war game? Is it your war game is more popular than other ones?
Well, then recommendations, right? Leaning into being lead gen for other applications and so forth.
Right. But the recommendation part is another part of the feature is coming.
So I think there's actually a really big market for this. We get pitched by OEMs all the time that are trying to create kind of their own versions of a Google TV device or even potentially Android. Like sometimes it's an ice cream sandwich with their own layer on top. And they customize it, right? And the consistent problem we hear from them is they want a better way of displaying the apps than just a grid. So I mean, there's at least 4 or 5 that have pitched us on this. So I feel like there's a pretty decent sized market for you to actually sell something like this to them, where they actually use this as the default way to display apps on the home screen.
And this was an app that already exists on Android for mobile?
So this idea originally coming from a mobile device. So, and then I think actually Google TV probably will be even bigger market because like people probably tend to use more app at home instead of just a mobile device.